Really means to live life golden. Yeah, we're golden, baby girl, we're golden. Yeah, about to see it shine.
So given what happened yesterday with Bitcoin, I have to start by asking you that. What the role that you have as a regulator is in licensing things like, for example, Coinbase, because we had this huge fluctuation yesterday, a huge drop, 20% in Bitcoin, reportedly because of some problems with Coinbase and Gemini, two of the exchanges.
So, as you mentioned in your opening remarks, New York is leading in regulating Bitcoin and cryptocurrency and virtual currency in general. And as regulators, we keep on top of the companies that we regulate. We obviously knew what was going on yesterday. We're on top of it. We're making sure that they do the things that they need to do so it doesn't happen again. As regulators, we also impose capital requirements. We do things to protect consumers. And that's why regulation in any space like this is so important, and why New York took the lead 3 or 4 years ago with the Bitcoin license, that we now have 6 companies who are licensed virtual currency companies in the state of New York.
So you require certain capital requirements,
We do.
liquidity requirements, things like that. What other things do you require of these companies before you allow them to do business in the state of New York?
Our application process is vigorous, it is lengthy, it is deep. We want to know who owns the company, we want to know who the officers and directors are of the company, we want to make sure that they have policies and procedures with anti-money laundering controls, we want to make sure that they have robust cybersecurity protections, we want to make sure that they have the appropriate capital and liquidity, as you mentioned. So it's just as you would license, as we do banks and insurance companies, you want to make sure that they are safe and sound and make sure that they are appropriately responsive to New York's consumer protection laws and to the people that are operating on their exchanges in this case.
So you were following this closely yesterday.
Absolutely.
What did you or your staff do as soon as this started to crash?
Well, we are in contact, without giving the details of we are in contact with our companies all the time. And when something like this happens, we are on top of it, and we certainly will have more interaction, in the days to come to sort of ensure what happened and learn what happened, to ensure that it doesn't happen again. I mean, obviously those types of things could happen once in a while. The currency then went back up afterwards, and that's a good thing. But there wasn't a lot of traffic, and that's showing really the growth of this currency and this real innovation that we're experiencing globally in the world. And I think as regulators, we have to be on top of that, but we have to foster that type of innovation.
So Maria, speak more broadly about the relationship to federal and state regulation, because there is an overlap here. And let's give a specific example. The Consumer Financial Protection Board, much in the news right now. Not clear exactly who runs it. That's being litigated down in D.C., right? What is your overlap? What is your relationship with CFPB?
So we have had, since the agency was created with Dodd-Frank, and my agency, DFS, has had a terrific relationship with the CFPB and with Richard Cordray, who was the first and only director to date, only confirmed director to date of that agency, and his senior staff. We've had a terrific relationship. We've worked on matters together. I believe strongly in the importance of a federal consumer protection agency. The states have a critical role to play in consumer protection. My agency, DFS, for New York, we have robust consumer protections. We have the ability to bring cases and claims under Dodd-Frank, and we will continue to do our work, perhaps more so because DFS and New York will have to fill gaps if that robust enforcement does not continue.
Exactly my question, because this administration has been not too shy about saying they have some real skepticism, I think it's fair to say, at the CFPB. And Mr. Mulvaney, who's come in now as the acting director, at least that's from the administration side, has really been quite critical of it. If they do really change the direction of CFPB and really pull back, do you have the wherewithal to step in and supply what they have been supplying?
Look, we will do what we can in New York to protect New Yorkers. As I said, I think the CFPB is an incredibly important agency. It's a national agency. It has 50 state jurisdiction, and I'm a strong supporter of that, and I would hope that whoever leads it in the future has consumer protection. If that doesn't happen, and certainly in New York, we will always fill whatever gaps need to be filled to protect New Yorkers, and we've done a lot of that in the past year. We've done it in healthcare. We've done it in lots of different areas. We'll do it in the banking industry, the insurance industry, wherever is needed to make sure that our markets are protected and our consumers are protected.
Maria, it's really great to have you here. That's Maria Vullo. She is New York State Department of Financial Services Superintendent.